Hey guys, Alex Raykin here, and today we're going to talk about how to write some cool riffs using modes. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so quick review of the modes. The way I think of the modes is like 7 separate scales that come from one scale. Alright guys, so this is a 7-string tune to A standard, so I have a C right here. So as many of us know, the C major scale is simply C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if we start that scale on D, for example, and play it from D to D, like D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, then that would be called the Dorian mode, the D Dorian mode. And then we would have E to E, which would be the E Phrygian mode, and then the F Lydian mode, G Mixolydian mode, A Aeolian mode, or A minor, B Locrian mode, and that would be the 7 modes. And those would sound something like this. Alright guys, so now in order to hear the differences between the modes, I'm actually going to play them all from the same root, from C, in order that we can hear the differences between them. Alright guys, so the way that I conceptualize and view these modes is I view some of them as major, some of them as minor, and one of them, in this case, as diminished. And the way that I make that distinction is what kind of chord is built from that mode. As a quick primer on chord building, the way we build a major chord is root, major third, perfect fifth. And a minor chord would be root, minor third, perfect fifth. And finally, a diminished chord would be root, minor third, diminished fifth. And I may as well throw the fourth one out there, even though it doesn't exist in the major scale, which is root, major third, augmented fifth, which is the augmented chord. Alright, so the reason I view the modes in this way is so that I can use the other modes as substitutions for the basic major and minor scale. And let me show you how I do that. Alright, so let's take the first mode, for example, which is the Ionian mode, or the basic major scale. So if we take the first mode that's similar to the Ionian mode, it would be the Lydian mode, which has a raised fourth, and it sounds something like this. If we compare that to the Ionian mode, so whenever I write a riff with this mode, I want to actually use that augmented fourth to accentuate that particular unique quality. And we can contrast that with. As you heard, that Lydian mode sounded a little bit more mysterious and interesting than the basic Ionian mode, and so that would be a cool substitution for it. Players like Joe Citriani and Steve Vai use this mode all the time, so dig in. The other cool mode in the major scale, which you could utilize with a major chord, is the Mixolydian mode, and that one is basically like a major scale with a flat seventh. And that mode is basically outlining a dominant 7th chord. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, now so the Aeolian mode is your basic minor scale, outlining a minor chord or a minor 7th chord. There's also 2 modes that can substitute that one, which would be the Dorian mode and the Phrygian mode. Dorian mode is basically a minor scale with a major 6th. Alright guys, so let's move on to the Phrygian mode. And the Phrygian mode is very much used by bands like Metallica back in the day and a lot of bands today. And basically it's a minor scale, but with a minor 2nd. So here's a normal minor scale and then the Phrygian mode. Alright, so finally we have the 7th mode, which is a Locrian mode, which is not as often used because it's not as musical, but you could probably make use of it. If you compare it to a minor scale, it's basically a minor scale with a flat 2nd and a flat 5th. Now I'm playing a power chord on the root here, but technically I should be playing a diminished chord like the 7th chord that actually lands on this particular mode is the half diminished, which I love. And that's basically root, minor 3rd, diminished 5th, and minor 7th. Alright guys, so now let's talk about some more exotic modes, and these are going to be fun. If we take the harmonic minor scale, for instance, which is basically just a minor scale, but with a major 7th, that one little note change translates to 7 new modes. I'm not going to bother going through them here, but I'm going to go through 2 of my favorites. One of them I really love is the Dorian raised 4th, which sounds something like this. It's really cool that you have like 2 diminished power chords here. Alright, so another mode I love from the harmonic minor scale is the Phrygian Dominant. And Phrygian Dominant is basically a Phrygian scale with a major 3rd. So it's... And the really cool thing is it works over a major chord. So next time you have to play over a major chord, instead of playing, you can play. It's also called the Jewish scale. Alright guys, I just want to put this out there. These modes I showed you today, they're not exhaustive. They're not all the things that you can experiment with. You don't have to stick to these. You can use them as inspiration and add notes or subtract them and move them around and just, mess with them. For those of you who are pretty confused about all the theory stuff, I did make a video about music theory you can check out right here. As always guys, if you dug this one, go ahead and smash that like button, comment below because it really helps this channel grow. Join the tribe, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next one.